We back once again. 13 Market Moves review. The way you can get this course is you can go to coursesharing.net. You can request some credits. So create an account. Go to your account. Go to credit detail. Go to purchase more credits. And here's how you can buy the credits in order to purchase courses on coursesharing.net for a fraction of what the original seller is selling them for. So I don't know if this is good to be showing everybody this kind of thing, because I don't want this to go away. But basically, you can get like 13,000 for $200. Okay, I'm going to show you why that's important, because then you can come in here, and you can get your own Market Moves course, which is right here. It's basically 13, so it's basically $200. Now, if you go to the Market Moves formula page, this guy, he's selling his videos. Say, for example, here's one. Let me see where he. Here's their website. Now, I'm a fan of this trading style. I think it's fun, but okay. Well, I guess I can't even get into the website anymore. Anyways, it's about $8,000 for the total course. You might spend about $2,000 for the 13 Market Moves course, but you can just buy it here for $200. Anyways, just a fun trading style. It's very counterintuitive. It's a nice little trading style to use small money to build your account, build a small account. But I've got the slides right here for you. Basically, this is the notes that I took there, that from the actual course from Course Sharing. So if you don't want to do any of that, you can just screenshot or copy the slides as I go through them. So stick around for this, and let's get started. The first move, and I'm going to zip through this because I'm not going to read all of this, but the first move essentially is going to be the move one, and we're going to look at what a move one looks like on the chart as well. So the move one, I just kind of drew it. It's a small gap up, and then you've probably seen this move a lot where you just got a small gap up and you don't really get a dip until about the middle of the day. Small little dip, and then it just keeps going. What this is going to be a continuation move, a bullish move, and we're going to go look at it just on a basic chart here. It's going to be a continuation bullish move that you really only want to track this on SPY, because that's kind of the whole premise around it is built on SPY. And so we're going to look at, here's a move one right here. You can just see it, same type of thing. It's not always going to look like this, but what the key is you got the small gap up. You got really no dips until you get to about middle of the day. This one didn't continue higher, but it did end higher, so this would be considered a move one. Let's move on to move two. Move two is a gap up. You've probably seen this move. Gap up, rip, and then down for the rest of the day. I mean, I guarantee you guys have seen this type of move. Here's the gap up, rip, and then basically down. This one didn't end down, so it's kind of a weird move two, but that is definitely a move two. Here's a move two, gap up, and then sell. Here's another move two, gap up, and then sell. They actually bought this one up. So that one's interesting. There's variations in this too, so the more you learn about it, the more you start seeing like the little mini moves that happen inside of it. But here's the other one, gap down and basically go to the downside. See if we can find a move three anytime in the past. There should be one here. Just kind of going through here. Here's a move three, gap down and sell. So and this is how you determine whether it's a two or a three. And this is what you're looking for if you're trying to time the market for a sell. You're waiting for the moves 2 and 3. That's all you care about for the sells, because that's where you get these huge dumps on the 2s and the 3s. So you had the gap down, which creates the move 3. If it was a gap up, it would be a move 2. So you always got to be kind of on the. And he goes into detail on how to kind of determine that timing wise with the VIX, with the sequences, so you can see the sequence probabilities and that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's really truly any back testing or science in this, but just knowing the sequence and knowing the potential moves that can happen will just keep you aware of what's possible throughout the day. I think that's why I like this trading method. But and then you got the gap down. the consolidation, really you have like a test of a low, probably like a pre-market low or something, and then a move higher, and then another test. So I like to sort of categorize this move 4 as like a double bottom after a gap down, and then you'll be able to see at the end of the day it usually kind of moves higher. So see if we can find a move 4 real quick. Something like this. You had a gap down, you had to move to test pre-market, a rip, move to kind of test again, and then end of the day move higher. That would be a move 4, and that's a bullish move. So if you're tracking these sequences like I do, like right here, so if you look at some of my other videos, we're tracking these sequences as they're happening. I haven't put in Friday's move yet, but basically we're still tracking bullish sequences happening using this. A move 5, you guys have probably all seen this right before Fed Day. Move 5, where you just chop around all day long. So definitely, I always expect this move on Tuesday right before FOMC. Sometimes you don't get it, but I'm just sitting there ready to see if this happens. And I trade a lot smaller because I kind of know that that's what they do. The move 6 is just a devastating move because it starts off like a move 1, usually. It doesn't have to. The only thing that's going to tell you this is a move 6 is that end of the day, basically volatility, and it usually happens around like 1 or 2 o'clock, 2:30 even. It can happen where you just get a sell and you end up closing in the red. So a move 6. Let's see if we can get a move 6 here. There's quite a few move 6s that happened before October, so we'll see if we can find an example of that real quick. The move 6, I mean, they don't happen that often. That's the thing. So here's a move 2, very clear move 2 there. Move 3, we'll talk about that move. Here's kind of a move 6 right here. So what and then you start seeing combinations of moves. So we'll see this is actually like 3 moves in one, but we're going to take the overall move. But this was like end of the day sell. So you had like a move 1, and then sideways, and then a kind of a sell down. It didn't even close lower, so that's not really technically a move 6. So we're just going to move on here. I actually haven't seen a true move 6 in a long time. Here you go, move 6. So you see that sell off. So this right here will give you a little bit of a heads up. This actually was a move 4 into a move 6, and so that happens quite a bit where you have, like I said, 2 moves in one day. Usually with the move 6 or move 11. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Move 7, gap up. You've probably seen this. Gap up, rip, test the open, and then go higher. This one happens a lot in a bullish uptrend. You get the small gap up, and then you get a retest of the open. And this is more like a move 7 where you had to gap up, retest of the open. It didn't end up moving higher like you would like to see, but it is a move 7 just because it ended up closing higher and it retested that open. So not the best move 7, but it's still move 7. So you would mark that down in the sequence as a move 7. Move 8, gap down, and then it just kind of comes to a low and then ends higher. So move 8, basically a move 7 only with the gap down, in my opinion. And it's not as choppy. So I actually haven't seen a move 8 in a very long time. I'm sure there is one in here, but I'm not going to go back. Like, these don't happen very often. The most common moves, 1, 2, 3s, 7s, and 11s. And then you get a rare 13, but we'll talk about that one. Move 9, you don't see a lot of this move 9. And don't mess around even looking for it, because this type of move, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not trying to trade that. If you're trading this, then you're going to end up losing money in the long run. Same thing with a move 10. This happens usually this is usually the pattern on FOMC, where you get the crater, the rip, the crater, and then you end higher after the minutes, after Powell starts talking. This really chops a lot of people up, and kind of, in my mind, this is kind of like a reset of sentiment, a reset of the market, positioning, that kind of stuff. It's just like, okay, we got the minutes, and now everybody's just kind of selling off stuff they don't want now, and it's the start of a new trend, in my opinion, usually once you see that. Move 11, or as you might recognize this pattern as sort of like a head and shoulders, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a head and shoulders. The definition of it is basically, we'll go back to that one. Basically, here's one right here, a topping formation. Here's the one we were looking at, where you have an open, and you rip higher, and then by about middle of the day, a little bit, maybe a little bit later, see this at 12:30, it happens a lot around that time, then you end up closing basically flat for the day with consideration of the open. So that's going to be that move 11. Now move 12, basically like an inverse head and shoulders. I haven't seen an actual move 12 for a while. So again, some of these moves don't happen very often, but keeping in mind that a move 12 is basically an inverse head and shoulder. It's like an inverse move 11, gap down, sell off, end up closing even, only the reverse. This is going to be a bullish continuation move. And then my favorite move is the move 13 and the move 2. The move 13 is my favorite because you have a huge gap, usually a huge gap lower. It doesn't necessarily need to be a huge gap lower, but you have essentially a gap lower and dip, a fast dip. Now, we've seen a lot of these happen lately. So you have a gap lower, fast, here we go, move 13, gap lower, and then it's going to hit some sort of resistance here, or support, and so you'll probably see some kind of support. I don't know where it's going to be, something like that, which is like a previous open, and pre-market open. And they try to hammer it through that support. The bears aren't there. Buyers step in and they just rip it higher. So this is going to be a move 13, one of my favorites. So I'm always on the lookout for a 13 or a move 2, just because those are the ones that create the most volatility. So hopefully this makes a little sense to you guys. Again, you guys can just copy these pages, or you can go purchase the course here, or you can go to go buy the real course from him. It's basically, his course is just going to be a YouTube video like this, going through this. So anyways, hope you like this, and we'll check you next time. Like, comment, subscribe.